Nairobi, a city sculpted in concrete and neon. A restless hive of engines, ambition, and human desire. A place where progress races the sunrise and shadows belong to skyscrapers. But here, at the city's softest edge, another world stirs. A world older than the roads that slice beside it, older than the glass towers that try to catch the light, older even than the name Nairobi itself. Here, wildness kneels at the hem of civilization. Here, two jungles breathe against each other, one built of stone and one born of dust, bone, and ancient memory. The savannah keeps its own archives, its own way of remembering. Every skull, every rib, every silent tooth, a footnote in the long story of survival. In this place, even the thorns have lessons. Sweetness hides behind hardship, just like life in the city. No other capital city carries a national park like a locket or a pendant at its throat. No other metropolis wakes up with lions as neighbors or breathes the same dawn as buffalo and black rhino. At just over 100 square kilometers, Nairobi National Park is modest in size, but monumental in significance. A fragment of the ancient Athi ecosystem. A sanctuary for creatures that once roamed the continent without fences, permits, or borders. Here, human and wild exist in a fragile choreography, sometimes harmonious and sometimes disputing the same horizon. We are right in the middle of the Nairobi National Park, at a place the rangers call Mutinda Bridge. This is a terrain as pristine and serene as God made it. And right here, all you see across the ridges, dotting the plains, are the examples of the wonderful wildlife here. A common zebra, the hartebeest, chomping on the scrubby grass all around. Here you can get lost in time. And indeed, the only thing that reminds you of the passage of time is bones like this, symbol of battles fought, won, and lost. Ladies and gentlemen, it is beautiful. This is Africa. This is Nairobi National Park. A very unique kind of park, one of a kind. A park surrounded by the city. Before you enter the great open plains, the Nairobi Safari Walk offers a condensed heartbeat of Kenya's vast ecological tapestry. Forest, wetland, and savanna. 3 worlds interwoven in a single elevated path. A living library of the nation's wild soul.
Safari Walk was opened back in the year 2000. Actually, the idea was conceptualized in the year 1997, and that's when they started drawing and doing the designs. And then finally it was opened in the year 2000. And the idea of this Nairobi Safari Walk, it was supposed to be a reception of the animals that come from the Nairobi Animal Orphanage. So when the animals come of age, they were supposed to be brought here. So initially, it was then meant to be the one that would exist for ecotourism and education, and the Nairobi Animal Orphanage was supposed to remain just as an orphanage, a refuge center.
Right.
But when it was opened in the year 2000, it became obvious that people still wanted to continue seeing the animals at the Nairobi Animal Orphanage, and so they continued to exist side by side. So in this facility, it depicts three of the major ecosystems that we have in this country. That is the wetlands, the savanna, and the forest. Of course, we have the other two ecosystems, which is the desert, and of course we have the tropical forest. Yeah. So the three major ones, they are depicted here. And in this facility, you will be able to see animals that you can see in other parks. So we actually call it a place where you fall in love with Kenya.
Is that so?
Yes. She's Morgan, and the other one is Nairobi.
Nairobi.
Yeah, this is Edward. So Edward came from Transmara.
This one, the one.
Yes. Yeah, this was the young one. He came from Transmara, and
Hello, Edward.
he will be turning 2 years this October. Yes. So he was rescued from Masai Mara and has been hand-raised at the Nairobi Animal Orphanage from the age of 2 weeks, and then he was introduced to Morgan.
To Morgan.
Yes.
Before we
Morgan has been here for 7 years.
Before we get to Morgan, I want to, what's Edward's story? What's Nairobi's story? What happened to him?
Nairobi was rescued by community members in Transmara areas. He was definitely orphaned, so they just found him stranded in the field, and they got to call our KWS personnel at Masai Mara. By then he was aged about 2 weeks, and that's how he found himself here. So he was taken good care of by one of our curatorial people. The person is called Nairobi. His name is Nairobi Edward. Yeah, that's why we named him. Yeah, that's why we named him Nairobi.
Dubai, a titan shaped like time itself. Blind, yet navigating with a memory older than sight. One of the last white rhinos of his lineage. A relic of a world that is slipping through our fingers. He is proof that even the giants need guardians. This is not a zoo. This is a doorway. A place where children meet their future responsibility. Where curiosity becomes a promise. 150 indigenous trees rustle overhead, whispering the oldest syllabus on earth. Learn this land, care for it, or lose it. Beyond the boardwalk lies the open kingdom, a realm stitched together by predator and prey, season and sun. Jackals trot with their conspiratorial confidence. Buffaloes gather in the shadows, massive, moody, unpredictable. Elands drift like silent nomads across the plain. Every species here is a letter in the alphabet of survival. And then the moody monarch of these thickets, the black rhino. Notoriously short-tempered, famously short-sighted, but make no mistake, nothing about her presence is small. 4 tons of muscle perched on legs that look too short to carry such wrath. Yet she can pivot faster than human eyes can track. She can change at speeds that mock human endurance. She can charge at speeds that mock human endurance. She smells you before she sees you. She judges you long before you understand her. We have the African white rhino right behind me. And you can tell it's a white rhino. It's different from its black cousins for several reasons. First of all, white rhinos are larger, generally larger, and they're more barrel-shaped. The second thing is the shape of the ears. It's more like a tube. They're more tubular, the ears. Third thing, if you want to tell between a black and a white rhino, different from their color, is of course the shape of the head. The white rhinos have larger heads and much broader heads with it, and they don't have a defined forehead like the black rhinos. These are just some of the few reasons. The other reason that you can tell that's a white rhino is that I'm still here. If that was a black rhino, I tell you, we would have been out of here before you can say Jack Robinson, because black rhinos are notoriously ill-tempered, very bad-tempered animals. Whereas the warden tells me that the white rhino is a lot more sedate, a lot more docile, and definitely a lot more approachable. But remember, these are wild animals. You can't just walk up to them anyhow, which is why we're taking the care and the pains to stay a respectable distance away from them. I'm made to understand this is a female, about 11 years old, with one of her very, very own calves. However, there is another rhino. If you can see 3 rhinos there. The other one is not necessarily its biological child. But you see, rhinos, white rhinos particularly, do love to operate communally. So it's not very unusual to see a white rhino like this large female with other white rhinos who are not necessarily genetic relatives. But it's wonderful, isn't it? Just look at it, quite magnificent. And you can tell, if you look at the mouth of the rhino, it's somewhat flat, and it's suited for this kind of grassland, the savanna grassland, because white rhinos are grazers. They mostly eat grass. Well, the black ones are more like browsers. They eat tree bark and leaves and shrubbery. Their eyesight is not very good, which is why if you look at it, it's tilting its head back and forth. It cannot see us very well. We're very fuzzy in its eyes. But it does have very sharp hearing and very, very sharp noses. Nairobi National Park is unique. It's the only national park surrounded by a major city. Matter of fact, and a capital city. And look at that sight. A new city with all the skyscrapers, the symbol of the future. And this prehistoric beast, 6 tons of pure muscle, evolved over millions of years. The past, the present, and the future in one picture.
You don't walk straight at a black rhino. You introduce yourself sideways, respectfully, because here, one wrong breath can become history. The calf stares. The juvenile snorts. The mother twitches. A warning. And then serenity returns. A moment shared, a line not crossed. Where water gathers, giants gather with it. The hippo, deceptively gentle in appearance, violently territorial in truth. The crocodile, silent, calculating, carved by evolution for ambush. 2 titans, 2 tempers, forced into a reluctant coexistence by the geometry of the river.
This is the Athi Dam at the heart of the Nairobi National Park. Behind me, you can probably see the electricity transmission pylons and the standard gauge railway, perhaps the only hint of modernity interrupting the serenity that is the Athi Dam. This particular water body attracts a variety of wildlife, an explosion of wildlife, if you may. There is bird life, there is herbivores, there is carnivores, and right behind me, if you can see a slate grey log, that, ladies and gentlemen, is not a log. It is one of the apex predators of this area. It is the crocodile.
In this water body, you've got a family of hippos. We've got carnivores that come to drink here. We've got herbivores that come to drink here. Truly proving that water is indeed life.
Nature writes her dramas without rehearsal. A wounded heron, a predator waiting for gravity to choose sides. The water holds its breath. The heron freezes. The croc slides into the water and glides closer and closer and closer, and then stops. A choice made, a life postponed, a meal forfeited. Mercy? Maybe. Or perhaps the savannah simply turned the page, saving this ending for another dawn. Here lie the ghosts of a crime against nature. Ivory, once carved from fallen giants, now dust among dust. This is where Kenya drew a line, not in ink, but in fire. A warning to the world. Their tusks are not trophies. Their lives are not ornaments. Their deaths will not be commerce.
The largest to be banned was the year 2016 by our former president, Kenyatta. He banned 1.5 tons of elephant tusks and 1.3 tons of rhino horn. Mr. President Daniel Arap Moi, in the year 1989, he banned about 15 tons. The history of black rhinos in Kenya, they are under Appendix 1, critically endangered species, making it to be under Appendix 1. So, the year 1990 up to, let's say, the year 2000 area, we lost a lot of rhinos. But due to conservation efforts, we have managed to raise the number up to now, and we are continuing raising the number. Like, for example, if I say 3.5 tons to 4 tons is a full grown-up weight rhino. So it takes like 30 years to reach those kgs. And you know, you kill it just to take 1 point. 5 kgs only, and the 3.5 tons to 4 tons, you'll just leave it lying there. Gestation period, most of the time, like the white rhinos, it takes 15 months. And for the elephant, it takes 22 to 24 months to give birth. Yeah, that is a gestation period. So imagine something taking 3 full years to give birth, and you eliminate in a second, just to take ivory.
Did you know that black rhinos thrive here in Nairobi National Park mainly because of the city? Here's how. You see, Nairobi's urban environment ironically helps this park by reducing poaching pressure. Because of the constant surveillance, quick response times, and the highly trained rhino units minutes away from the CBD, it now becomes Kenya's strongest rhino breeding strongholds. Did you know that the city lights affect nocturnal hunters? You see, the light pollution from Nairobi subtly changes animal behavior. For example, hyenas now patrol closer to the city side. Lions hunt deeper towards the south, away from the city, and some nocturnal birds shift their active hours. Did you know that it is the oldest national park in Kenya? Yes, it is. It was established in 1946. Nairobi National Park is Kenya's first national park. It's even older than the country's independence. Just as we surrendered to the fading light, the savannah remembered to reward the patient. Out of the shadows walked royalty, unhurried, unbothered, as if dusk itself had grown 4 legs and amber eyes. The city glows behind them, silent witnesses
to a kingdom that refuses to bow. Night returns, the city hums, the savannah listens. Two jungles, one forged by nature, one sculpted by human ambition. They share a boundary drawn not by fences but by fate. Here, at their meeting point, lies a lesson that the wild is not a place out there. It's a memory within us, a heartbeat we forget until we stand where concrete ends and nature begins. This is where Nairobi finds its balance, where steel and savannah breathe the same air, where the present meets the primordial, where the concrete jungle meets the real one. PORINI, where the wild still whispers.